Today we're going to be going over some men's fragrances that completely destroy everything in their path. You know, at least around here, there's not too many guys that are actually utilizing fragrances, right? It's not very common here. Could be in other places of the world, in the US or whatever, just not so much. However, every time I do wear any of these, they do really cut through the air and cut through all other scents that are going on. It might not just be other colognes that they're overpowering. It could just be the smell of, you know, smoke and other smells that you might encounter when you go to bars and restaurants and stuff like that. So if you want to spend money on things that are strong and that really cut through the air and are scents that actually will be able to get noticed, which is the end goal for a lot of people, stay tuned. I've got 7 of them here, a nice modest amount to get you started in the right direction. Also, for the most part, without breaking the bank. They're all designers, but we do have one in particular that's a little more expensive than the rest. Everything else is reasonable. I'll link everything down below so you can purchase these at discounted prices if you want. We're actually going to start things off with Les Parfum. You could go for this, of course. You could go for the original. You could go for Paradise Garden, Flower Edition, any Les Beaux, and then, you know, kind of on that subject, you could probably go for any Le Male fragrance. Le Male Les Parfum, Ultra Male, Elixir, Elixir Absolute, whatever. Basically, all of these are strong. And it really comes down to picking and deciding which you like best. For the most part, these all trend in the sweeter direction. You know, the few Le Male fragrances that they have released that have been fresher over the years have been discontinued and replaced with sweeter variants. So, you know, the freshest one of that group that you could still purchase right now would honestly probably be Flower Edition. You know, there's a couple others that are kind of just hard to get, you know, in the navy and stuff like that. But Flower Edition is going to be your freshest one if you really want something fresh. But again, most of these are sweeter leaning, just something to keep in mind. You know, this one does have coconut. It has pineapple, tonka bean. It's this sweet, tropical, summery smell. It's very simple. And you might hear that and you might look at the notes and you might think, man, is this too sweet for summer? And for some people, it definitely could be. Another thing that you kind of have to make the conclusion on your own. You know, everybody has a tolerance for that sort of thing, and weather conditions are different everywhere. But what I can tell you is that this stuff is very, very strong. I've never had an issue with it, you know, not performing well. I've never had an issue with this one, you know, just kind of getting lost in the shuffle. Every time I wear this one out, it cuts through the air with no problems at all. Typically 125 ml for around $120 or so, maybe sometimes a bit less is where you're looking. Not a bad price in this day and age. If you want to go for something more affordable, coming in at about half the price, we have Armoff Club de Nuit Untold. This one is actually a clone fragrance, and it's a clone of the very expensive and very popular Baccarat Rouge 540 Eau de Parfum. Baccarat Rouge 540, you've heard of it. A lot of you have probably smelled it either by means of sampling it, smelling it on somebody else, a full bottle, or one of the many clones. Most people are familiar with it at this point because it's been popular for a long time. And it's kind of a weird one in the sense that it's almost surprising that it got as popular as it did. 1, because of the price. 2, because of just the type of scent that this is. It's not your usual style of trendy fragrance that you would expect to get really popular. It's not a blue scent. It's not something that is sweet in the traditional sense with like a chestnut, tonka bean style. It's different. It's sweet, but more in the sense of a transparent, light, woody saffron, amberwood sweetness. It's just different. That's the best way to describe it. It's marketed as a unisex fragrance. Some people say it's feminine. Some people say it's just unisex. I haven't really heard too many people call this one masculine, so maybe that tells you something. I love the DNA though. It's not one that I reach for and wear all the time because it's a bit intense. It can be a bit too much at times, but it is definitely something that is very unique. And obviously talking about the clones here as well, there are many clones to choose from. Armoff is a very reputable, big name in the clone space, and it's a great one to go for. This stuff fills up a room. It is very strong, and it might be kind of misleading. When you smell it, it's kind of airy and light, and you might think it's going to be weak. Don't fall into that just yet. Make sure you give it a good couple of sprays and test it out first, because if you go in with 10 or 15 sprays, you might be surprised at just how much this one pushes out. All right, this next one is going to be the most expensive scent in this video. Like I already mentioned, we've got one that's an outlier, and then everything else after this is going to be more on the reasonable end of things. We have Sauvage Elixir by Dior. Not only is it like $140 to $150, but that's also for a 60 ml bottle like this. So when you factor in the price per milliliter, it is by far the most expensive scent in this video, basically rivaling some niche fragrances in terms of pricing, which is a little bit crazy. But this one is warm spicy. It's nothing like the original Sauvage or the Eau de Parfum or even really the Parfum at all. This one is in a completely different category. It uses a lot of nutmeg, licorice, a ton of sandalwood. It's warm spicy, it's woody. That's basically what this one is. It has a very mature, kind of classy, elegant smell to it. And again, this is gonna be something that is just not like what you might expect from a scent named Sauvage. It's just completely opposite. But if you do want something, it's gonna be more grown up smelling, something that is just insanely strong to the point where it's a little bit wild sometimes, Sauvage Elixir is the way to go, because this stuff, it really does push out all day long without giving you any problems. So yeah, you're paying a lot of money for it, but at least in that regard, you get something that is very long lasting and highly projecting, and also just something with great quality as well. Let's go for TUMI 19 Degree. It's a Parfum. It's kind of a newer favorite of mine. I don't know, I love this stuff. It's this wonderful mixture of raspberry and leather. And those two notes, they go together really well. You've seen it used in a few other applications, Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford, the newer Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir uses a similar combination there, and then of course this one does as well. So you get this kind of leathery, masculine, slight animalic smell, and then on top of that you get a little bit of a sweet fruitiness. You've seen some comparisons to Creed Aventus, and while you could maybe say that there's a little slight bit of a similarity, mostly in terms of it being in a kind of somewhat similar category, other than that, it goes in its own direction. So I definitely wouldn't call this a clone. There are more differences than not. This one doesn't have that pineapple. It doesn't have the same type of birchy smell. It just doesn't really have that. It's got a bit of leather, which Aventus does, but it just doesn't quite go that far for me. However, on its own, it's wonderful. I'm a big fan of it, and this was a complete blind buy risk for me. I didn't think it was going to be all that great. I didn't think it's going to be worth the retail price of $170+, which I did pay for it because it was new. Now you can get it for like $85. Okay, that's a wonderful price for this stuff. Highly recommended. Again, as I mentioned already, it's a pure Parfum concentration, very strong, long-lasting, great projecting scent. That's just worth having around. Let's go for Mansera Intense Cedrat Boisé up next, 120 ml. I mean, $100 as kind of the maximum. Here lately, I've been seeing testers pop up for, $65, $70, which is just crazy. This stuff it's designer priced at that point. Even at $100, it's designer priced, and it's niche, and it's high quality, strong performing niche. Every time good deals like that comes up, this for $65 or something like Aqua de Jo Absolu, kind of a discontinued one coming in stock, or Eros Najim coming into stock, I send out an email to my email list, which you could sign up to below at the first link for completely free. And the reason why I listed off those in particular was because those most recently came into stock, and I notified my mailing list, in which afterwards those items sold out pretty quick because they're in demand. People want them, and they want to pay good prices for them, and I delivered on that. So if you want to be notified when stuff like that comes into stock, hit the link down below and sign up for free. Also, Reflection Man 45 Extrait for $200. You just don't see that anywhere else, and if you did, you would have been too late to it unless you're on my mailing list, so I'll see you in there. Now, this is yet another fragrance that kind of gets compared to Creed Aventus. This one, it's been out for a long time. Well, the Eau de Parfum has been, and then this Intense has been out for a couple of years now, but this DNA has been out for a while. Aventus comparisons, same thing, you know. Is it in a similar category? Yes. Is this a clone of Aventus? Definitely not. It's fruity and woody and sweet. It's sweeter than Aventus. It doesn't have that type of brighter, fresher, musky woodiness that Aventus has. It's, again, to use the word, sweeter. I do love it. I absolutely love everything about this. And this scent DNA, Cedrat Boisé, has been a favorite of mine for years. It's just something that works for every situation. And in this one in particular, the Intense Extrait concentration is unstoppable. It's going to project all day, last all day, and cut through anything. We're going to run down to the end here with Invictus Parfum. This one has some of your citrus, fresh sea notes, lavender and things like that, and then soap, okay? So that kind of gives you a general idea of where this one fits in. It's going to be a fresher, soapier, cleaner take on the Invictus DNA rather than going in a heavier, sweeter direction like you might expect from a Parfum flanker, which is usually the case, just not this time. And they do have that, to be fair. You jump over into the Victory lineup, the original Victory Absolute, the Parfum, and just all of the new Victories that are coming out at this point. They have that, okay? And those are going to be sweeter, kind of smoky, and just more of a Parfum flanker style. But this one, just regular Invictus Parfum, it's fresh, it's clean, citrusy, soapy, and nowhere near as bubblegummy sweet as the original Invictus, which for a lot of us, myself included, isn't really something that I ever reach for. There's nothing wrong with the original Invictus. It's a super popular scent for a good reason. It works. It definitely would be a good fit for this video, but I would definitely prefer the Parfum. I just think that this is a better option in this day and age, you know, if you wanted to at least stand out a little bit more and have something to change things up a bit. You know, it's been out for a little while now, so it has been on discounters for some time. And again, I've seen testers for around $70. Now, it's not the normal price. You know, you'll typically be spending a bit more, maybe closer to $100 for a standard 100 ml full presentation, but still very reasonable and about what you would expect from an Invictus flanker. But again, if you're in the right place at the right time, it will dip below that relatively often. And of course, with these testers or not, no caps involved, so that part doesn't really matter as much. And we're going to finish this video off with Hugo Boss Bottled. It is the Absolute version. I don't know, it's a favorite of mine. I guess you could say I'm kind of obsessed with it because obviously we're in summer right now and it's not the time of year to be wearing this one, and so I haven't been wearing it. However, without fail, pretty much every time I come down here to either shoot a video or select my scent of the day, I smell this. I don't spray it every time, it's just kind of wasteful, but I pick it up and I smell it off the atomizer. You know, it's just something where I almost can't get enough of it. So I'm a big, big fan of this stuff. They knocked it out of the park. Balsamic, sweet, smoky, mature, resinous, kind of mysterious as well. This is a flanker done right. And you know, even flanker aside, it's a fragrance done right, because this really could almost stand out on its own. Yes, it's a Boss Bottled, and they're utilizing the iconic Boss Bottled name and bottle for this, of course, right? But they could have taken this and started a new line and it would have made sense. Like, this doesn't smell really close to the original or Boss Bottled Intense or anything like that at all. It stands out completely on its own. So, of course, it is a flanker by nature, but really I just kind of look at it as a standalone release just because of the fact that it is so different. Now, it is kind of similar to Boss Bottled Elixir, right? But it's kind of like this and Boss Bottled Elixir are in their own little corner, and everything else just kind of is something different, but definitely something that's another great performer, full Parfum concentration, cuts through anything, especially in the wintertime. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. A few fragrances that cut through the air, cut through all other colognes and other scents around them. They're just really strong, they get the job done, and they feel like their money well spent because you're actually, you know, getting noticed when wearing these. They don't just disappear because they're not all that strong, which can be the case with a lot of scents these days. Like I said, I'll link everything down below, and also sign up to my free mailing list at the first link down below. Trust me when I say you just don't want to miss out on some of those deals. Things are expensive these days. And, you know, you don't want to pay retail for things, and you sometimes don't even want to pay normal discounter prices for things. But when a flash sale pops up or a tester pops up, you want to be in the right place to catch it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.